I
completely disagree. I completely disagree with you. I think if they sell Newcastle, their chances of making Champions League decreases by 50%. It's not only about the goals he scores. It's not only about the goals he scores. It's about the overall play. It's about the link-up play. It's about the weight you hold as a forward as well. Alexander Isak for Newcastle is the talisman, is the star player, is the one that keeping defenders on their toes. And from minute one, I genuinely believe that it's worth it, right? And we're not keeping Isak for Newcastle, even for 1 year, and then they sell him next year. And also, you are thinking about Isak being sold less. And maybe Newcastle are thinking about, we improved our team. That's how they think. We improved our team by Elanga. We're going to improve our team. Our team is getting more experience. We think Isak is going to score 25 goals, and his price is going to be even higher. It's going to be similar to Erling Haaland. We're going to go further in the Champions League.
Maybe.
You are thinking about it from a negative point of view for Newcastle.
No,
West Ham.
from a positive point of view.
Let me finish the take. You are thinking about it from as West Ham went backwards and they finished 17th. Newcastle is thinking about it like, we're going to finish higher on the table if we get Isak. We're going to go to the round of 16 of the quarterfinals of the Champions League.
So again, where I agree with you is in the but the reason they're buying Hugo Ekitike is for what? They are not going to play them, in my opinion, regularly in the same 11. Hugo Ekitike wants to be a starter somewhere. I think buying Hugo Ekitike gives you a 1 year period. And this is what I think people are forgetting here. If legitimately they played in a system where both were going to get used regularly together, I would agree with you wholeheartedly. Why would you get rid of Isak in that regards? I think you bring in a player like Ekitike. I think if they went and got Šeško, if they went and got Jokeris, it doesn't matter who the guy is. And the age is almost irrelevant. These are black guys. Their next move is to be a starter somewhere, to be the main man. You get 1 year maximum of them being in the same squad, because I think Newcastle are already preparing for Isak moving on, because it doesn't matter about the progression of Newcastle to a certain degree. Isak is wanted by your Liverpools, by your Barcelonas, by your Real Madrids, the creme de la creme, the royalty of football. And I say this with absolute admiration for the growth that Newcastle have had. There is nothing, even because they don't have the money, by the way, to do it yet. There's nothing they can do to stop their very best players having their heads turned by the giants of the game that are still at the peak of their powers. In fact, you see teams that have, look how big Chelsea were, and still Eden Hazard had his head turned by Real Madrid. That will happen in 10, 15 years' time on a number of occasions. All I'm saying Newcastle have got to do here is think logically. I think Hugo Ekitike is a medium to long-term replacement for Isak. They have to weigh up the amount of money that Liverpool are willing to offer and look at it and go, if we don't sell Isak now and they take our number one target, they may think, do you know what, though? We've got other targets that we can get next year or we can buy now that we think are just as good as Ekitike. So that's where Newcastle, here's the positive side, that's where Newcastle might go, well, screw you. Take Ekitike. We're going to go and get Šeško. We think he's going to be a world beater as well. That may be their ploy, and fair play to them if they do it. But if they really do look at Ekitike and they're like, he is the man and would be crazy to lose him for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years, I think they could be pushed into a position to do a deal. And the reason why I mentioned the West Ham example is West Ham don't have great owners. Man United would refuse a deal, not thinking ahead, and then in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, regret it. Newcastle have got fantastic owners. I don't think Newcastle's future depends upon Isak being there. I actually think that's disrespectful to the rest of the squad, the way they operate, and the plan of action that they've got. I don't think anyone's club, no well-run club should be that dependent on one particular player unless he's maybe Lionel Messi. There should be a way forward and a strategy without that player. And Newcastle getting Ekitike plus improving the squad with the money Isak brings in, I don't think they'd have too many problems.
Okay, let me just say one thing before Osam comes in. I actually think that Newcastle might not want to sell for a direct competitor in the Premier League. I know that a lot of people will say that Newcastle are not. Okay, let me just come closer and listen to what I'm saying. Maybe open your minds. Newcastle, anyone here knows that when Newcastle were bought by the PIF, let me just explain it to you guys. Anyone knows that when Newcastle were bought by the PIF, their target is to be similar to Man City. So basically, challenge for the league within the next 2-3 years.
10 years. 10 years was the plan.
So I think that if they sell to Liverpool, Isak is 25. If Newcastle challenge for the league by the year 27 or 28, right? Isak is still going to be 28, 29. If they sell to Barcelona, it's different. They get less money. I think that Newcastle owners are very ambitious. They're probably more ambitious than all the owners in the Premier League, apart from the Man City owners. They're richer, they want to balance the books, and they want to challenge for the league. Selling to Liverpool now will actually make them try to look for the likes of Isak. The striker market is very limited now. They don't mind selling to Barcelona. They aren't a direct competitor in the Premier League. Similar to what Man City did back in the days, even when they didn't challenge for the title. Man City didn't want to sell. Man City actually bought players from other clubs to actually challenge for the league. Literally, what people don't understand is that the Newcastle owners, with all due respect, are not Brentford owners, are not Brighton. These are the Saudi money team. This is why they go big for. This is why they bought Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali and Botman, and they're trying to sign and Livramento. These guys are trying within the next 2-3 years to maybe challenge for the Premier League. We saw them say that. Yes, the target is in 10 years to actually win the league. But they want to challenge. That's why they want to make Champions League competitively. But selling to Liverpool, and by the way, Ekitike is 23, Isak is 25. Isak can give you, if Isak goes to Liverpool, we know that Isak can be the best striker in the Premier League in the next 5 years. I believe Isak is better than Haaland. They sell him to Barcelona, it's completely different. They want to sell to, if they sell to Liverpool, they're not catching Liverpool or anybody because that is their talisman.
Okay, let me ask Sam a question, and the Liverpool fans tuning in. And once you guys have answered, I'll give you my straight answer. Do you think rivals? Because I'm seeing predominantly the people that are agreeing with Mo and disagreeing with Sam and me are Arsenal, Spurs, United, etc., etc., etc. Do you think people are just projecting what they want to happen, Mo, rather than what they really, Sam, rather than what they really think?
Ben Jacobs is someone who comes on the football terrace that you trust very highly. He tweeted 1 minute ago, Liverpool have made an approach for Hugo Ekitike, who is a leading target if Alexander Isak is not possible. As reported last week, LFC have approached both Newcastle and Frankfurt to understand both situations. Isak the priority, but Liverpool will quickly proceed with Ekitike if they determine Isak isn't possible this summer. Newcastle have had a £70 million bid rejected for Ekitike and are still trying to agree a fee. Liverpool ready to advance on Ekitike quickly once they determine Isak clarity. Richard Hughes to make the final call soon with input from Michael Edwards. This tweet proves myself and Terry right about the fact that this is in Liverpool's hands, not in Newcastle's hands, number one. Number two, Terry, your answer is very simple. Yes, because people are now trying to explain Ekitike and Isak at the same football club. Let's not forget, this is the same fan base that claimed that Ekitike is going to be the Callum Wilson replacement. Let's deep this. Let's deep who we're talking to here.
My God.
That's how delusional this is.
My God.
We're talking to people who thought that Ekitike is going to be Callum Wilson replacement. We're talking to people who thought Ekitike and Isak are going to play in a 4-4-2. And you want to know what makes... I'll tell something to Mo, right? You want to know what makes my and Terry's argument a lot stronger? Who did Newcastle sign, Mo?
Elanga.
So how does this make sense with Elanga? Tell me.
What do you mean?
Okay. If Newcastle signed no one, let's say Newcastle to this second signed no one, and someone were to claim Ekitike will play left wing, I'd be like, okay, maybe there is a point in this. But now, with, watch this, Anthony Gordon, Harvey Barnes, and Elanga, and Jacob Murphy, logic is showing us that they're going to play a 4-3-3 next season 100%. With two wings. Just completely logical, no bullshit. Now, you have Isak as your starting striker. Now, the reason why Terry's question is, are people projecting? Yes, people are projecting. Because this is not Real Madrid trying to sign Ekitike as backup, Barcelona trying to sign Ekitike as backup. This is Newcastle United. All people have to do is click new tab, go Bundesliga, go check where Frankfurt finished last season. Frankfurt finished third. So Frankfurt are already in the Champions League in a World Cup year. Ekitike is not going to go to Newcastle to sit on the bench, and they're not going to play a 4-4-2 because Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali's hamstrings will be gone within game week 3 if they have to defend all the counterattacks from Isak and Ekitike playing together. There's the reason why no one in the whole league plays 4-4-2. It's either 4-3-3 or 4-5-1 or 3-5-2. The reason why people are projecting is because the mere thought of Isak joining Liverpool is just striking fear into the hearts of everyone. Because everyone knows if Liverpool sign Isak tomorrow, league's done. Let's just say it as it is. League's done. There is literally like an 80% chance, a 75% chance Liverpool win the league. And then here's the difference between Isak and Ekitike, because someone might ask, okay, Sam, you like Ekitike as well. I'll tell you the difference. You want to know where Isak makes a difference for us? Isak doesn't just make us favorite for the league. He also makes us favorite for the Champions League. And that's the difference right there. So you can go and you can win the Champions League. Now with Ekitike, can I guarantee you we win the Champions League with Ekitike? No. But Premier League, I'm still confident.
Can I just say as well, right? Newcastle fans, I want you to be right. Mo, I want you to be right. Liverpool getting this deal is terrible. But I've had the same mindset since the story really first started having any credibility back in April, where I was called, some of the biggest football YouTubers on the planet were calling me the worst names, the worst pejoratives for even entertaining the idea that it was plausible. Not that I personally said it would definitely happen. The reason why I'm just getting on with it and accepting that it's possible and it really could happen is it will hurt less when it's done. Everybody's sitting here saying it's not going to happen. Cope, nonsense, rubbish, clickbait. If and when it does, your pain is going to hurt you so much. You're going to lose your mind. Most of you will turn around and start attacking your own football club for some weird reason. Accept the fact that it really could be happening. Mo could be right. And I'm sorry to say this if you're watching, Staffy. I objectively get where Mo is coming from, and it could definitely be true. I'm very open to the idea that could be that could. I've got to explain to Staffy what objective means. That doesn't mean I'm now backing Mo. I objectively support the fact. I subjectively understand that Mo could be right. Does that mean you've changed your mind? No. It means I'm open to the idea of being wrong. But I just don't see a world where Newcastle hold all the cards here, because Liverpool the A side. Liverpool will get Ekitike if they go for him. The only saving grace, I think, in this whole debate for Newcastle is, and I get your whole point, Mo, about their owners want to win. They do, but it's because they're smart and they want to win. But I think they understand that sometimes you have to take a step backwards to go forward. All these little sayings, you've got to cut a part of yourself off to grow. These things are real, and clubs have done it before. The irony here is Liverpool literally did this in 2018.
Yes,
2019,
yes.
when they sold Coutinho.
It's very important because you just mentioned it. I think Newcastle get better if they sell Isak. And I'll explain to you completely logically. Hear me out. What is Newcastle's ceiling right now? Their best player, Isak, Bruno Guimaraes, these players. What's their floor? What's Newcastle's floor? Joe Willock, Sean Longstaff, these likes of players, right? This is how I think Newcastle gets better if they sell Isak. Newcastle's problem the first time they were in the Champions League. So the first time they were in the Champions League, the reason why they finished 8th is not because there were 7 teams ahead of them. It's because they couldn't cope with 2 games a week, specifically given how Eddie Howe plays, specifically given how the squad is made. Now, as things stand, Isak is an A-star player. If you sell that A-star player and proceed to buy 3, 4, 5 B-plus players, you actually establish yourself as a Champions League club. This is the thing that people are unaware of. The problem with Newcastle is their squad is shit. And I have proof of this. Sean Longstaff just got sold to Leeds. Sean Longstaff is championship level player. He is a bench player for Newcastle, meaning that if Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, or any of these guys get injured, who's playing for them? Sean Longstaff. Sean Longstaff is the type of player that if he were to play Champions League football in an important game, Newcastle will get absolutely destroyed, which is why Newcastle need to raise their floor. Their floor is the problem right now because Newcastle do have D-, D+, C- level players. And they need players who would actually make them better. Meaning, let's say Newcastle sell Isak, right? They go sign Hugo Ekitike from Frankfurt, and then they sign 3, 4 Premier League proven players, who can help increase the level of their squad. They actually put themselves in a better position to finish 5th again and to make Champions League football again, which will in turn make them start to become one of the elite clubs. When did Spurs become that elite club? When they made Champions League 3-4 years in a row. Because guess what? We have seen clubs who are not elite, nowhere near that level, play Champions League football once in a blue moon, once every 3-4 years, and then that's it. Leicester City, let's not forget, won the Premier League, played Champions League football, won an FA Cup, and then after that literally got relegated. Now, I'm not saying Newcastle will get relegated. Newcastle will not get relegated. I'm saying if you sell this one player who is your best player, I understand he's your best player, but after you sell your best player, you go and you sign 4 or 5 B+ level players who are Premier League proven. So Newcastle go sign Ekitike, Mateta, Adam Wharton, players like that. 50 million, 40 million, 60 million. Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace, 45 million, he's available. Mark Gahey, go sign Mark Gahey. All of a sudden now, your squad's a lot better. Your team overall as a team is a lot better. And exactly what this man right here said is true. Instead of needing Isak to score 23 goals, guess what? Ekitike gets 15, Elanga gets 12, Gordon gets 13, and as a team overall, you're better. And that's what happened when Liverpool sold Coutinho. You think I wasn't heartbroken when we sold Coutinho? I was heartbroken. That's why I hate Coutinho till this day. But we went and signed Alisson, Van Dijk, Shaqiri. We went and got like 3-4 players. Liverpool as a squad got a lot better, and we ended up winning the Premier League. That's it.
Newcastle people, you heard it here first. Go and sell your star man. You heard it from Mr. Don Hassan. Go and sell your star man to get better and win the Premier League.
Man United sold. Hang on, Man United sold David Beckham and ended up with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. You were in a rebuild. Newcastle are not in a rebuild. Absolutely phenomenal. Let me go back to.
We weren't in a rebuild back then. We were all in. We just.
When did you sell him? When did you sell him?
With Ferguson? Are you mad?
Oh, that would have been 2004.
Literally the rebuild. Hassan.
Maybe 2003. Maybe 2003.
Alex Ferguson from 2003 to 2007. Literally.
Yeah, but we okay. But we also got.
I don't want to go there, Terry. You know exactly. You said before that was the rebuild.
Hang on. Just let me talk about my club for a minute. We sold Yap. Just hang on. It's my club. I know it. We sold Yap Stam and still maintained our levels. Well-run clubs don't fall off when their best players leave. Yes, Man United needed some new players in their squad, but the only reason, listen, yes, we needed to improve. But the reason why we needed to improve is because we weren't accountable for Chelsea suddenly becoming amazing and Arsenal having a brilliant team. If, for instance, Chelsea didn't get taken over by Roman, it's highly plausible in 05 and or 06 we'd have won one of those league titles, especially the 06 year. And Arsenal created maybe their greatest team of all time. Yes, we had to keep going forward, but sometimes you're just not the best team in England, and that happened on a number of occasions. But I've seen Man United on multiple occasions. We also did it in the mid-90s. We got rid of 3 of our best players in Kanchelskis, Ince, and Mark Hughes, and went on to win one of the best eras ever. Well-run clubs. This is what if Newcastle will run like crap, my Mike Ashley days, I would concur wholeheartedly with you. But I have seen loads of well-run clubs lose their best player and get better or maintain their levels. I believe it's disrespectful to Newcastle United to go, you're fucked if Ekitike goes. I think that's wrong, personally.